or floating on air in our spas. Elevate your everyday with David Lloyd Clubs. Try a 3-month membership today.
Not many men have your courage. Agent Argyle.
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 God, I hate that cat.
Argyle in cinemas February 1st.
Boxing on DAZN, sponsored by William Hill. The following programme is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language and flashing imagery.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
So close.
How do you like it?
Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these two guys! Still the undisputed champion of the world!
Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It's weigh-in day for our first UK show of 2024. Lewis Crocker is back this time to headline in his home city of Belfast against big punching Mexican José Félix, who, as we mentioned yesterday, no stranger to an Irish upset. Big fight card, 7 fights to look forward to from the Ulster Hall here in Belfast. One place to watch all the action, and that's live around the world on DAZN. I'm Jamie Ward. Alongside me for today's weigh-in, former IBF World Middleweight Champion, Mr. Darren Barker. Darren, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today, grabbing a few interviews with the fighters. We were on the sofas yesterday, but live TV, what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. We're professionals,
Seamless.
Jamie.
I don't know. That's a big compliment. A big compliment. When we get to weigh-in day, Darren, we always say the same thing, but listening to a few of the fighters yesterday, a bit of back and forth, the anticipation, the excitement, as the fans we are, just continues to build, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, and it's an intriguing main event. I think we'll start at the top. 2 big punchers, physically strong. But we've got a bit of everything here. We've got prospects, we've got potential rising stars, grudge matches. So, yeah, a really good show.
And when you look at the turnaround time, just 8 weeks on from the Battle of Belfast, Lewis Crocker and Tyrone McKenna, what a great fight that is. As a fighter, good or a bad thing?
You want to be busy. This is your job. You want to be busy, and also the activity gives you your timing, your distance, you keep your eye in. So, yeah, I think all of these fighters just want to fight as much as they can.
Well, let's give everyone watching at home a little reminder of the order of play live on DAZN tomorrow night, and also the order of play for today's weigh-in. We begin at 6 p.m. live on Matchroom and DAZN YouTube channels with the return of Lili Buttigieg, who really impressed in his professional debut. He's in with Arsham Spatar, 4 rounds at super welterweight, before 9-0 Kurt Walker, part of the Condon boxing camp, meets Darwin Martinez over 6 rounds at super featherweight. We'll then cross live to the DAZN broadcast at the usual time of 7 p.m. Giorgio Vizioli steps up to 6 rounds for professional fight number 2. He's in with 4-2 Samuel Pekire. Conor Walker is back after his rematch with Cyrus Pattinson was unfortunately postponed. He takes on Cardiff's 9-0 Lloyd Germain in defence of his WBA international welterweight title over 10 rounds, before the high-flying Paddy Donovan looks to move 13 without loss against Argentina's Williams Herrera. 10 rounds that one for the WBA continental welterweight title. The chief support, an absolute cracker. Tokyo Olympian and now 7-0 professional Chev Clark takes a big step up in calibre as he meets former European champion Tommy McCarthy. That won 10 rounds for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Cruiserweight title, which sets us up nicely for the main event. Lewis Crocker collides with José Félix in a guaranteed barn burner over 10 rounds for the vacant WBO Intercontinental welterweight title. Darren, I do want to ask you about the chief support, because when we talk about anticipation growing, we were talking about it yesterday. What is it? Is it a crossroads? Because when you listen to Tommy McCarthy, he believes Chev's not necessarily served his apprenticeship after 7 fights. He believes he's a former European champion, which he is, of course. What do you make of this fight at this stage of both of their careers?
I do think it's a crossroads fight. I think Chev's looked very, very good. An absolute wrecking ball. Has taken care of business and looks good doing so. Tommy McCarthy, we know how good he is, but how much is left. So it's an intriguing matchup. I mean, the winner of this really pushes on to bigger and better things. A defeat for Tommy would be really shattering at this stage of his career. Chef Clark wants to keep that momentum going, so he needs to win on Saturday night. So yeah, it's a really good fight.
Tommy believes that the experience will be key in the ring tomorrow night. Do you believe perhaps there is an element of him underestimating Chev Clark's experience, the pedigree, and how hard it was to get to the Olympic Games, though? Different type of experience.
I don't think so. I think he's smart enough to know. He's been through the amateurs himself. He knows how tough it is. So, yeah, he's fully switched on for this one.
Well, I'm hearing we are ready to get today's weigh-in underway. Our good friend, Mr. David Diamante, is standing by. Let's get today's weigh-in off and running.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Darren. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the world-famous Europa Hotel in Belfast for the official weigh-in of our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place here on Saturday night at the Ulster Hall. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, and we're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, Everlast, and Forged Irish Stout. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our first fight card of 2024, and it's a cracker. We got 7 fights on the card with 4 titles. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this weigh-in. We'll bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 4 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now making his way to the stage from Narva, Estonia. His professional record, 4 wins against 4 defeats. He has 1 win coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Artyom Spatar. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His young professional record thus far perfect. 1 fight, 1 victory, and that victory came by way of knockout. He's the 4-time national champion fighting out of London, England. Please welcome Lely Buttigieg. Now to the scale, Artyom Spatar. $157.5 from Artyom Spatar. 157.5. And now making his way to the stage, please welcome the undefeated Lely Buttigieg. $158.5 for Lely Buttigieg. 158.5.
Talking of turnaround times, Darren, 8 weeks for Lely Buttigieg, but that momentum's key for him, isn't it, at this stage? Just 18 years of age as well.
Yeah, 18. What a fighter. Very, very talented. He's well schooled, level-headed. He's got a great team behind him, and if he keeps progressing the way he is and working hard, the future's very bright for Buttigieg.
Buttigieg Spatar, 4-round super welterweight Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Belfast.
I was talking to his trainer, Darren Eddie Lamb, in the hotel reception earlier, and he was saying it just did him the world of good. Confidence builder. To win his debut in that fashion was special, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you could see what it meant to him as well. He was jumping around the ring. And you expect that from a young lad making their pro debut, winning in that fashion. You want to see that kind of energy, and I'm sure we're going to see a similar performance tomorrow night.
And our second fight are standing by. So here's our MC once again, Mr. David Diamante.
Okay, our next contest, 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 8 wins, 17 defeats, 2 draws with 6 wins, coming by way of knockout. Presentando de la capital, Managua, Nicaragua. Please welcome Darwin El Finito Martinez. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, undefeated, 9 fights, no defeats, 1 win coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Lisburn. Here's the 2020 Olympian, Kurt Walker. Now to the scale, Darwin El Finito Martinez. 130.6 for Darwin El Finito Martinez. And out of the scale, the 2020 Olympian Kurt Walker. $133.2 for the undefeated Kurt Walker. 133.2.
Well, as I mentioned, Darren, Kurt Walker, a late addition to the card, part of the Conlon boxing setup. What do you like about what you see?
Well schooled, as we've heard David mention there, former Olympian. He knows how to fight. He's comfortable on the front foot, on the back foot. He's a very good fighter. Well schooled, as I say. Variation is on point, and yeah, he's well backed here in Ireland. So a good addition to the card.
Walker versus Martinez, 6-round super featherweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from Belfast.
Well, I mentioned about doing something a little bit different at today's weigh-in. We're going to have a few guests on. We've got Mike Costello, of course. Mike, you'll be commentating ringside. You were commentating on Michael Conlon and Jordan Gill 8 weeks ago. The atmosphere was brilliant. An intimate atmosphere, I think we can expect at the Ulster Hall, but that's what you love, isn't it, from ringside?
Yeah, I've had some great nights in Belfast, Jamie. I remember outdoors at the Titanic, a specially built arena, when Carl Frampton became world champion for the first time. That was an incredible atmosphere outdoors in September. I've been indoors at the arena for Frampton and others down the years. I've been to press conferences at the Ulster Hall and weigh-ins at the Ulster Hall, but never commentated there. And when you look at the great names of Irish boxing, Northern Irish boxing, who've been there, I'm really looking forward to it tomorrow night. There's always a special atmosphere. A lot of people say it about a Belfast fighting atmosphere. There's a great mixture of passion and knowledge, and I don't suppose it'll be any different tomorrow night.
Great stuff, Mike. Catch Mike, of course, on the commentary desk, live on DAZN tomorrow night. Fight 3 already. Back to David.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the weigh-in continues. But first, big shout-out. We've got a local here in the house, former unified bantamweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Burnett. Give him a nice round of applause out here. Ryan Burnett in the house. And the weigh-in continues right now. We've got 6 rounds in the super featherweight division, making his way to the stage. Professional record, 4 wins against 2 defeats. He's fighting out of South Birmingham in the West Midlands. Please welcome Sam Ridgeback Pakiri. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His young professional record thus far perfect. 1 fight, 1 victory, and that victory came by way of knockout. He fights out of Aldershot, Hampshire. Please welcome Giorgio Vizioli. And out of the scale, Ridgeback, Sam Pakiri. $133.5 for Sam Pakiri. $133.5. And out of the scale, Giorgio Vizioli. $133.2 for Giorgio Vizioli. $133.2.
From 4 to 6 rounds. Darren, why is Giorgio ready for this small step up at this early stage of his professional journey?
I think the grounding, the foundations that he has from them amateur days at the Repton, the green and gold, my old club, the best in the country, dare I say it, and the confidence, the schooling that he has is fantastic. His IQ, his boxing brain is on point, and yeah, he's certainly one to watch, Jamie.
It was a brilliant stoppage in the opening round back in November on the Katie Taylor Chantel Cameron 2 undercard. No doubt Giorgio Vizioli will be looking for much of the same tomorrow night. Professional fight number 2 for one of Darren Barker's favourites, former Repton Boxing Club champion. Let's bring them face to face.
Giorgio Vizioli, Sam Pakiri, 6 rounds, super featherweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from Belfast.
Well, we're hopeful that Darren Barker, who is stateside, might be able to grab a quick word with Giorgio Vizioli. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Putting his top on quickly, Jamie. I don't know why, I'd keep my top off all the time if I look like him.
And he certainly is a firm favourite already of yours, Darren.
Yeah,
you are a bit biased of the Repton boys.
A little bit.
Giorgio,
second weigh-in done as a professional. How are you feeling, and can we expect something similar to that fantastic debut?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. You know, I'm excited to put another great performance on, and we'll see what happens. You know, I'm not going to say too much, but yeah, looking to put a great performance on again.
Inside the distance?
Say again, sorry?
Inside the distance?
We'll see. I don't like to say too much, you know what I mean? But it's going to be a great performance.
Giorgio, all the very best.
Great stuff, Darren. Great stuff, Giorgio. Conor Walker and Lloyd Germain meet over 10 rounds tomorrow night at the Ulster Hall, and they are also standing by. Let's get them weighed in. Here's David Diamante.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the first of our 4 title fights, as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds for the WBA International Welterweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, please welcome the challenger. His professional record, a perfect one. 9 fights, 9 victories, with one of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Cardiff, Wales. Here is the reigning Celtic and Welsh welterweight champion, Lloyd Germain. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is the defending titleist, professional record, 12 victories, 2 defeats, 1 draw, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Wolverhampton. Here is the reigning and defending WBA International Welterweight Champion, Conor the Wolf Walker. Now to the scale, the challenger, the undefeated Lloyd Germain. $147.2 for Lloyd Germain, 147.2. All right, Lloyd's going to have 2 hours from now to make the weight. Now to the scale, Conor Walker. $146.4 for the Wolf, Conor Walker. 146.4.
Well, listening to Frank Smith, Darren, speak yesterday, it seems winner stays on in this one, and big fights awaiting the winner.
Yeah, that seems to be the case these days. Winner stays on, as you say. So much to fight for here, it really is. Conor has had that win over an unbeaten fighter in Cyrus Patterson. He's got the opportunity to do that again. Lloyd is a good fighter, full of ambition, and I'm sure he'll have no worries getting that .2 off the weight, and it promises to be a very entertaining fight. I think styles will gel tomorrow night, Jamie.
You ready, yeah? Ready. Sure you are. .2 over. Yeah. What are you going to say? Say something? Got no lungs, have you? Got no lungs, have you? I'm full of lungs. Go and get your sweatsuit on, mate. I'll get your sweatsuit on. Fine. I'm going to break that hollow little body out. Yeah. See that. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Big for nothing. Big for nothing. Hollow. Break it down, little bitch. Bitch,
Conor the Wolf Walker, Lloyd Germain, 10 rounds for the WBA International Welterweight Champion. Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Belfast.
Conor, how are you? A lot to say at the weigh-in there.
Over, isn't he? He's .2 over.
Mate, anything of that?
Nah, I mean, look, he's big for the weight. I'm a true professional, do you know what I mean? I come in on weight, so I'm going to go. I'll be in Nando's by the time he comes back and weighs in. So
look, you ripped up the script last time. You beat an unbeaten fighter in Cyrus Patterson. What can we expect tomorrow night from you?
More the same, man. You know, he hasn't done what I've done. You know what I mean? I've been in there. I was fighting undefeated fighters in my 5th fight. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's got a lot to learn, and he's going to learn it all Saturday night.
Conor, wish you all the best.
Well, we were going to grab a word with Lloyd Germain, but we'll let him go backstage and do what he needs to do as we bring up Paddy Donovan now. Is really impressed of late. He's in with Williams Herrera tomorrow night, looking to extend that knockout run. Here's David to bring them up.
From the Europa Hotel here in Belfast, the official weigh-in continues as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, in association with Paco Presents, are proud to present 10 rounds for the WBA Continental Welterweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, please welcome the challenger. Professional record, 15 wins against 2 defeats. He has 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de la Calera, Cruz del Eje, Córdoba, Argentina, Williams Andrés Herrera. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is the defending titleist. His professional record, a perfect one. 12 fights, 12 victories, with 9 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Limerick, Ireland. Here is the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA Continental Welterweight Champion, Paddy Real Deal Donovan. And out of the scale, El Retador, the challenger, Williams Andrés Herrera. .146.6 for Herrera, 146.6. And now to the scale, the undefeated Paddy, the Real Deal Donovan. .146.35 for the undefeated Paddy, the Real Deal Donovan.
As the nickname suggests, Darren, the real deal. You've seen elements of that when you watch Paddy Donovan do his thing in the ring.
Absolutely, and how can you not? There's everything to admire from him. Hand speed, foot speed, know-how, punch power. It's all there for Paddy. It's about progressing now, learning and listening to the team. He's in safe hands with Andy Lee. So, yeah, the future's very bright, but he's got to take care of business on Saturday, Jamie.
Can't take his eye off the ball, I think.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Donovan versus Herrera. 10 rounds for the WBA Continental Welterweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing in association with Paco presents live on DAZN from Belfast.
Let's see.
I think Darren's going to try and grab a quick word with Paddy Donovan from stage side.
Paddy,
from them now.
Thanks so much for joining me. Look, you've looked incredible so far. You've got another task in front of you tomorrow. How important is it, with big fights looming, that you take care of business tomorrow?
Yeah, new challenges, new fighters, different styles of fighting. It's important, obviously, to get the win. We're here in Ireland, so it's great to entertain. That's my plan. The main thing is keep focused, be disciplined, and get the job done.
Another dramatic win like last time?
Yeah, we'll see. You know, last time was brilliant. The crowd was epic in Dublin City. I entertained, so that's my plan. You know, I want to go in there and entertain for the fans. So, as I said, Saturday night, that's the plan.
Wish you all the best, Paddy. Take care.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 20 wins, 5 defeats, 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former European and WBC International Cruiserweight Champion, fighting out of Belfast, Tommy "Mac-Attack" McCarthy. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His professional record, a perfect one. 7 fights, 7 victories, with 5 of his 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Gravesend, Kent, here is the reigning and undefeated IBF International Cruiserweight Champion, Big Chev, Siobhan C4 Clark. Out of the scale, Tommy "Mac-Attack" McCarthy. $199.4 for the man from Belfast. $199.4 for Tommy "Mac-Attack" McCarthy. And now to the scale, Big Chev, Siobhan C4 Clark. $199.6 for C4, $199.6 for Siobhan Clark.
We have a fight, Darren. Do you think after yesterday's back and forth, we're going to expect this one to catch fire even earlier tomorrow night?
I think so, because there's so much to play for here. You talk about winner stays on. This is so important for both here, for the momentum that Chev wants to keep going, and the fact that this is career defining, if you like, in some respects for McCarthy, because if he wins this, it's a huge win for him at this stage in his career. But if he was to lose, where does he go? So it's so important that both get the win here, and when there's so much on the line like that, usually they catch fire, like you say, very early.
All the questions answered tomorrow night. Your chief support on DAZN from Ulster Hall, Siobhan Clark, Tommy McCarthy.
Siobhan Clark, Tommy McCarthy, 10 rounds for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship, Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from Belfast.
We're hoping to grab a word with both sides of this fight. See if I can, well, Darren, we'll see who makes their way off the stage first. Let me see if I can grab big Tommy McCarthy. Tommy, let me bring you in just briefly. Stick your top on. You're looking good. Weight made. Watch the step. Tommy, good to see you. Weight made. We have a fight. You've said in this camp you've got your spark back. Tell the people, tell Belfast, tell Ireland, what's going through your mind just one sleep away now?
No, I'm just ready to go. You know, all the talking and the training's all finished with, so it's fight time.
You said yesterday at the press conference you were the puppet master. What do you think you said that perhaps Chev didn't like on that stage yesterday?
Listen, I just got into his head. It was too easy. You know, I didn't say too much, and he bit like a friggin' pit bull. So, you know, it was easy work.
Tomorrow night, just before we go across the stage to hear from Chev, what is your message to the supporters? How do you win this fight?
Listen, I want to win this with basic boxing. And match the supporters, thanks for all the love. Keep watching, keep getting behind all the local fighters. We're going to hear plenty of noise tomorrow night.
Tommy McCarthy, best of luck tomorrow night, my friend. Top man. Let's hear from Chev.
Chev, thanks for joining us. Tommy saying the talking's done, but then he said he's got you riled up. You bit a little bit yesterday.
He's a clown. He's a clown. He was on the stage, and that's what he's meant to do. That's what his job is, isn't it? He's a clown. He's not a boxer, man. Come on.
And what do you say to the people that have said this may be too soon for Chef Clark?
People can talk. That's what, you know what I mean? That's what you're meant to have opinions. Otherwise, the sport wouldn't be what it is. But, you know, I'm the fact, I'm the truth, I'm the answer.
Right, then very quickly, prediction.
You know what happens, man. Chef wins.
All the best, Chef.
Thank you.
Great stuff, Darren. Great stuff, Chev.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the world-famous Europa Hotel for the official weigh-in for a big night of world-class professional boxing taking place tomorrow night at Ulster Hall here in Belfast. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening. As Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing, in association with Conlon Boxing and Paco Presents, are proud to present 10 rounds for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Welterweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 40 victories, 6 defeats, 1 draw, with 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando el hijo de los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome José Félix Jr. Félix Jr. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, his professional record, a perfect one. 18 fights, 18 victories, with 10 of them coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated former WBO European and the reigning WBA Continental European Welterweight Champion, fighting out of Belfast, the Croc, Lewis Crocker. Crocker. $146.6 for Josecito Felix Jr. 146.6. Now to the scale, the Croc, Lewis Crocker. $150 for Lewis Crocker, $150 for Lewis Crocker.
Well, Lewis Crocker, Darren, coming in £3 there over the 147-pound limit. He'll have a decision to make now, won't he?
Exactly that. Does he get the weight off? £3 is a lot. Does he want to get the weight off, or the belt you can see in the background will obviously only be for Felix to be able to win. It's a shame, but you talk about the turnover time. Was it a little too soon? Obviously, after a fight, you celebrate and you do refuel. So maybe a case of mistiming. He is huge, Crocker.
Lewis the Crocker, José Félix Jr., 10 rounds for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Welterweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing, in association with Common Boxing and Paco, presents live on DAZN from Belfast.
Thanks, boy.
Subject to the guy making the weight, subject to Jermaine making the weight. So where is he? Does someone want to wait?
Making the way back up to the stage here. We said there Lewis will have a choice to make now, won't he? What do you expect? £3, 2 hours not enough?
Look, it's over a kilo. That it's a lot of weight. I think the day before a fight, you wouldn't want to be taking that sort of weight off. So that I think the title will only be up for grabs for Felix, in my opinion. And yeah, push on now, crack on for tomorrow night. Business as usual.
Well, let's grab a word with Matchroom CEO Frank Smith, who might be able to give us a little bit more clarity on the situation. If you use Darren's mic there, Frank. Lewis coming in.
I'll hold it. Yeah, I'll be your tripod.
£3 over the 147-pound limit. What happens now?
Yeah, obviously, earlier in the week, as always, the BBFC do their check weights. Lewis Crocker didn't manage to make that check weigh, so there was a weight limit set that he couldn't come below. Felix's team were aware they wanted to make 147 still. He wanted the opportunity to win the title, so the title will be on the line for Jose, but unfortunately not for Lewis. You know, it's one of those rules for the safety of the boxers that the BBFC put in place, but we've got a great fight ahead of us.
And the show will go on, of course, not just a great fight, 7 good fights to look forward to. It's a nice card building here in Belfast tomorrow.
Yeah, brilliant fight. You've got that spike between Chev Clark and Tommy McCarthy in the chief support as well. That's a great fight for Chev Clark, and Tommy McCarthy, an experienced fighter going in there. He's going to be the toughest test Chev's had to date. Paddy Donovan back out. We saw a great performance back in November from Paddy, a great finish on that card. The fight between Lloyd Jermaine as well and Connor Walker. Connor Walker, I think, is a tremendous fight. Great fight he put on against Cyrus Patterson recently, so there's a spite in that one as well. You got Vizzioli's back out. He had a big finish again on the Katie Taylor undercard. Lee's back out, and Kurt Walker. So great card top to bottom. Great way to start the year off for us in the UK. Then we go and see the Gorilla go and do it. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
I was about to say, Frank, have you spoken to the team of Crocker? Do you know the reason for the missed weight? Is it just, you know, he was straight back in the gym, I guess, and do you know what's happened there?
Look, it was a quick turnaround, obviously, from that last fight. It was a quick turnaround to get this fight announced. No excuses. He's missed the weight. You know, it's one of those sports, and like I say, the board put these rules in place for the safety of the fighter. And we've been dealing with Jose's team all throughout the week. They've been aware of the situation, and the key for him, he wants the opportunity to win the belts. Well, win the belt still, but you know, fight goes ahead, and everything is planned.
Frank, just a quick one before. Sorry, Darren Barker so rudely took the mic away from you.
It's more pressing than what I was going to.
We'll just open up so we're on the camera there. The action doesn't stop, of course, on DAZN. John Ryder, the Gorilla, massive fight with Jaime Munguia in Arizona as well.
Yeah, huge fight. You know, obviously Jaime Munguia, we've seen him in against Derevinchenko, you know, recently. He struggled in that fight. It was probably his toughest test to date. And I think John Ryder, he's been in the sport for so long, someone Darren Barker knows well, obviously. He's really coming to the peak of his career. And who would have thought that, you know, 10 years ago when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, or whenever that, you know, that was around that time ago. He's had a great win against Danny Jacobs. He went in there and he showed a lot of heart against Canelo Alvarez and did a lot better than a lot of other fighters have done against him. And if he can beat Jaime Munguia, which we truly believe he can, it sets up a huge 2024 and massive fights in the 168 division for him.
Is John Ryder a good example, Frank, of, you know, what we should be reminding fighters, that one loss does not define your career?
100%, but there's so many as well. You look at like Lee Wood. when he lost,
Yeah,
what was it, 7, 8 years ago. You look at Jordan Gill when he lost in Peterborough, he comes back out and headlines against Alpha Barra. You know, it's so difficult in this sport, but the reality is we just want to see proper fights, and if we see proper fights, and people respect that, if you go in there and give it your all, just like John did against Canelo Alvarez, if he would have gone in there and not given it that effort he did, he might not have got the shot against Munguia. But now people want to prove a point against John Ryder because they want to say, right, I want to stop John Ryder. But John Ryder's got other ideas, and I think he's going to go in there and he's going to go put a terrific show in.
Brilliant. Frank, thanks so much for your time, as always. I'm always scared to go for the fist bump, just in case I get left hanging. Let's give you a final reminder of all the action tomorrow on DAZN. Of course, from Belfast, we'll begin 6 p.m. Match from DAZN YouTube before the bell. Laley Buttigieg's second professional fight for him. He's in with Arshan Spatar. 4 rounds at super welterweight before 9-0. Kurt Walker, part of the Conlan boxing camp, meets Darwin Martinez over 6 rounds. Live DAZN broadcast from Belfast, 7 p.m. Of course, Giorgio Vizioli opens up. He steps up to 6 rounds for professional fight number 2. He's in with 4-2 Samuel Pakire. Conor Walker, then back after his rematch with Cyrus Pattinson, unfortunately postponed. He's in with 9-0 Lloyd Germain in defence of his WBA International welterweight title over 10 rounds before Paddy Donovan, as I say, looks to extend that knockout streak and move 13 without loss against Argentina's Williams Herrera, 10 rounds for the WBA Continental 147-pound title before the chief support. Really, really building nicely, this one, isn't it? Chev Clark, Tommy McCarthy, all the questions answered in the middle of the ring at the Ulster Hall here in Belfast tomorrow for the WBA Intercontinental Cruiserweight title before the main event. Belfast, Lewis Crocker collides with José Félix. That your main event tomorrow from Belfast, live on DAZN. Darren, I enjoyed that for a new format. Also, for a first time, we're not going to big ourselves up. I'm going to big you up. What an interviewer.
Well, look, I've learned from the best, mate.
I'm a bit worried.
Thank you. No, look, we like to try new things, don't we? But what we've seen there's always a little bit of drama, always something goes on in this sport. But what promises, I have no doubt, to be a cracking show is tomorrow night.
Well, myself and Darren will be on the ground to bring you all the build-up as well in Las Vegas as the Destroyer Conor Benn returns against Peter Dobson next weekend. First, though, from the Ulster Hall in Belfast, live tomorrow on DAZN. We'll see you then.
This is what you dream of when you start out. Main event, home city, top of the bill. This is why I work so hard every day.
Espero que Cooper, mi rival, se prepare bien porque va a ser una guerra y vamos a...
This is the year of Lewis Crocker. We're starting 2024 with a bang.
Y tengan listos los fuegos artificiales porque es seguro que va a haber dinamismo.